Thank you. First, I want to say thank you to Dr. Arn, your beautiful wife, Penny. You guys have been there for me during the darkest moments of my life, so thank you for that. To all of you here, parents, class of 2026, faculty and staff, it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to accept the degrees that I'll be receiving later on behalf of myself and Charlie. On a lighter note, yesterday was my wedding anniversary, and I couldn't help but think of a funny story to share with you through, obviously a lot of pain, but when we got married and we went to our honeymoon the next day, we decided for our honeymoon that it would be a disconnected honeymoon, meaning no computers, no cell phones, just being able to pour into each other, plan out what our family life would look like, what type of parents we want to be, what type of spouse we want to be, so really just pour into each other. And so, again, no phones, but at the time, Charlie's assistant gave Charlie a bat phone for emergencies, so there was only emergency phone numbers on this phone, nothing else. So when we arrive, we go straight to the gym, because that's what we did, and I'm on one side of the gym, Charlie's on the other, and then all of a sudden, I was thinking he pulled out the bat phone. And I was like, okay, maybe he's gonna put on some music. He loved classic rock. I was like, maybe he's gonna put on some music. So I'm on the treadmill, he's over in the weights, and all of a sudden I hear Dr. Arn's voice coming from the side of the room. And so I walk over to him, and I was like, baby, what are you listening to? He goes, I know. He was like, I'm almost done. He's like, I have to finish just a few more lectures from Dr. Arn. I have a few more certificates I have to get from my online courses at Hillsdale. We're almost there. I can't skip him. I was like, baby, you do what you got to do. I'm here for it. But I enjoyed it because I was learning about Churchill too. When he was working out, I was working out. It was a great little bonding moment. But every time Charlie finished a Hillsdale program, he would screenshot the certificate of completion, and he would send them to me every time. I know he would send them to the team as well. I believe he also sent them.
For 8 months, this is what the Erika Kirk story has looked like. Viral clips. Security controversies. Empty seats. Fake tears accusations. Resignation rumors. Online pylons. A Secret Service contradiction. A shooting. A breakdown in a hotel corridor. A conservative movement tearing itself apart over who has the right to carry a dead man's legacy. And then on Saturday, May 9th, Erika Kirk walked onto a stage at Hillsdale College in Michigan. Stood at a podium in front of an entire graduating class. Accepted an honorary doctorate awarded posthumously to her late husband. And delivered a commencement address that had nothing to do with any of that. No drama. No fighting back. No list of critics named by name. Just a widow standing in front of young people about to begin their lives, and sharing the blueprint of the man she married. As you continue forward in life, I want you to kind of embrace the similar blueprint of my husband, where he loved to point out that God made us purposeful beings, and continue forward in life with clarity and intention, she said. It was the most human thing Erika Kirk has done in public since September 10, 2025. And it sparked its own controversy, because of course it did. But before we get to that, let's talk about what actually happened at Hillsdale. Because it deserves to be told properly. Welcome to the Marquee Report. Let's get into it. The question that has been circulating since the ceremony was announced, and the one that Erika Kirk answered directly in her speech, is whether Charlie Kirk ever actually attended Hillsdale College. The short answer is no. Not as a full-time student. Charlie Kirk did not formally attend Hillsdale College as a full-time student, but the conservative activist stayed connected to the institution by taking its online education programs and had ties with college leadership. But the fuller answer is more interesting than a simple no, because the nature of Charlie Kirk's relationship with Hillsdale tells you something real about who he was intellectually and how seriously he took learning outside formal academic structures. During Hillsdale College's commencement ceremony on Saturday, Kirk's widow Erika Kirk revealed that her husband had completed many online courses offered by the college. According to Hillsdale's Associate Vice President of Media and Public Relations, Charlie took some 30 of our online courses. 30 courses. Self-directed. Outside any degree program. Without grades or credentials at stake. Just a man who believed in what this institution taught, the Western canon, constitutional principles, classical education, and kept coming back to it voluntarily for his own intellectual development. That detail, 30 online courses taken purely out of intellectual hunger, is the kind of fact that complicates the media caricature of Charlie Kirk as a purely reactionary political operator. Whatever you think of his politics, whatever arguments you have with his methods, a person who takes 30 courses voluntarily at an institution he deeply respected is a person who took ideas seriously. And his widow stood at that institution's podium on Saturday and told his story to the people he would have wanted to hear it most. Let's go through what she actually said, because this speech is completely different in tone and content from everything else Erika Kirk has said publicly in the last 8 months. Erika Kirk addressed the graduating class after accepting an honorary degree on behalf of her late husband. As you continue forward in life, I want you to kind of embrace the similar blueprint of my husband, where he loved to point out that God made us purposeful beings, she said. And you will come to understand that life is not defined by the abundance of options but by the weight of the choices that you make within them. And those choices more often than not are not dramatic or obvious but quiet and compounding, forming the blueprint of your life long before anyone else can see what you are building. Read that line again. Quiet and compounding. Forming the blueprint of your life long before anyone else can see what you are building. That is a genuinely elegant piece of wisdom. And it is being delivered by a woman who has spent 8 months having every single public choice she makes, every outfit, every post, every tear, every absence, subjected to the most hostile public scrutiny imaginable. Someone for whom nothing has been quiet. For whom everything has been examined the moment it happened. She was talking about Charlie. But she was also, whether intentionally or not, describing something true about her own situation. The quiet choices that build something nobody else can see yet. She also addressed how Hillsdale College helped Charlie Kirk become a leader. He really understood that this institution wasn't normal. It was something that elevated his thinking to be a thought leader and really become a serious person, she said. Not just a political talking head, but someone who truly sought out the beautiful things in life, the good, the true, and he really took that seriously because he loved learning. Not just a political talking head. That phrase is doing something deliberate. Erika Kirk is drawing a distinction between the Charlie Kirk the media packaged and the Charlie Kirk she knew. The one who took 30 online courses. The one who loved learning. The one who sought the good and the true. And then she told a story that stopped everyone in the room. A small personal moment that revealed more about Charlie Kirk than any political speech ever could. The speech included a personal story from the couple's honeymoon. Erika recalled that the pair had agreed to take a disconnected vacation without computers or cell phones. But Charlie Kirk reportedly continued following Hillsdale's online coursework by using an emergency phone during the trip. Their honeymoon. The one time in a marriage that is supposed to be completely disconnected from everything else. The one vacation universally understood to be sacred from work and obligation and outside demands. And Charlie Kirk used his emergency phone, the backup device kept for genuine crises, to do Hillsdale coursework. That is funny. It is also deeply human. It is the story of someone whose intellectual curiosity was so genuine that it could not be switched off even on his honeymoon. It got laughs in the room at Hillsdale, you could hear it in the footage. But it also did something more important. It made Charlie Kirk real in a way that a political biography never could. Not the founder of TPUSA. Not the conservative provocateur. Not the figure whose assassination has been debated and dissected and conspiracy theorized about for 8 months. Just a man who could not put down his reading on his honeymoon because he was genuinely excited about what he was learning. Erika Kirk chose that story to tell to graduates. Of all the stories she could have told, she chose the honeymoon and the emergency phone. The honorary degree itself deserves context, because the comparison being made says something about how Hillsdale views what Charlie Kirk represented. College President Larry Arnn introduced Erika Kirk before the address and later presented honorary public service degrees to both her and Charlie Kirk, the latter awarded posthumously. Arnn also described Charlie Kirk's personality. "I tried to help Charlie be a good citizen, and he was a very good citizen. But above all, he was a student teaching others to love freedom, to learn high things, to get married and have children, to be responsible, to love the Lord," Arnn said. One report noted that Clarence Thomas, one of the most consequential Supreme Court justices in modern American history, is among the notable recipients of similar honors from Hillsdale. Whether you agree with Thomas's jurisprudence or not, his place in American legal history is uncontested. Hillsdale placing Charlie Kirk in that company says something about how the institution evaluates his contribution to conservative thought and civic life. Hillsdale College also announced that it plans to place a plaque to honor Charlie Kirk as part of the commencement weekend celebration. A permanent plaque. At an institution he never formally attended. That he chose on his own, 30 courses worth of choice, because he believed in what it taught. And then, as inevitably as anything in this story, the criticism arrived. Some people asked why Erika Kirk was the one receiving the honor rather than a member of Charlie's biological family. Some questioned whether accepting a degree on someone else's behalf is an appropriate tradition at all. Some returned to familiar accusations about her use of Charlie's legacy for personal advancement. One comment, notable enough to have been cited in coverage, compared the situation to suggesting Hillsdale might as well get Meghan Markle next year. That comparison has been made before about Erika Kirk. And it keeps being made because there is a specific template in the public imagination for women who occupy public space through the loss of a powerful man, women who are assumed to be leveraging grief rather than living it. What that template misses, in the Meghan Markle comparison and in the Erika Kirk story, is the specific complexity of each situation. Erika Kirk did not create her public profile from scratch after Charlie's death. She was handed TPUSA leadership by the organization's own board in the immediate aftermath of an assassination. She accepted it. She has been doing the job, imperfectly, controversially, under conditions that would break most people, for 8 months. Standing at a Hillsdale podium and telling a room of graduates about a man who did his coursework on his honeymoon is not leveraging grief. It is honoring a life. And the graduates in that room, who came to Hillsdale because they believe in what it teaches, deserve to hear it. Here is where everything stands today. Erika Kirk delivered a commencement address at Hillsdale College on May 9. She accepted an honorary degree awarded posthumously to Charlie Kirk. She told his story, the 30 courses, the honeymoon, the love of learning, the quiet and compounding choices. She challenged graduates to live with clarity and intention. She promised on behalf of their children to make Daddy proud. The controversy followed. It always does. But here is what is also true. In a story that has been defined for 8 months by viral clips and slow-motion tear analysis and outfit comparisons and conspiracy theories, a woman stood at a podium at a respected institution and said something genuinely worth hearing about a man she loved. Life is not defined by the abundance of options but by the weight of the choices you make within them. Whatever you think about Erika Kirk, whatever side of the ongoing debate about her leadership and her grief and her public presence you fall on, that sentence is true. It was true when Charlie Kirk lived it. It is true for every graduate who heard it on Saturday. And it is true for the woman who chose to stand there and say it. This has been the Marquee Report. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss what comes next. See you on the next one.